Catholic Democrats on the presidential campaign trail have been going against church teaching and advocating for abortion. The growing list of presidential contenders includes at least 7 Democrats who identify as Catholic: former Vice President Joe Biden, Julian Castro, John Delaney, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Beto O'Rourke, Montana Governor Steve Bullock, and Representative Tim Ryan. Each of these candidates have supported pro-abortion legislation. To be clear, here is what the Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches on the matter of abortion. Since the first century, the Church has affirmed the moral evil of every procured abortion. This teaching has not changed and remains unchangeable. Presidential candidate Senator Gillibrand was recently asked by NPR how she reconciles her Catholic faith with her support for abortion. Take a listen to her answer.
So, I am a Christian. I have very strong faith that guides me, but I think the Catholic Church can be wrong on many things. And I don't agree with their views on reproductive rights.
We are joined now by Terry Beatley, president of the Hosea Initiative and author of the book, What If We've Been Wrong?, which includes the history of Catholic politicians beginning to support abortion. Terry, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, tell us about this book and the mission behind it. Why did you write this in the first place?
I wrote the book. It's called What If We've Been Wrong? Keeping My Promise to America's Abortion King. And the abortion king is Dr. Bernard Nathanson, who was the co-founder of NARAL. He trained Planned Parenthood on how to slaughter babies in the womb. And he was once known as America's abortion king. But what most people don't know, though, is that in 1996, he did a 180 and he repented for his crimes against humanity, and he became a Roman Catholic at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. Wow. And I had the rare opportunity to interview him when he was terminally ill with cancer, 83 years old. And at the end of the interview, I said, Dr. Nathanson, if you have a message for America, if you tell me what it is, I promise you I'll deliver it across our country until it becomes common knowledge or until Roe v. Wade's overturned. And I've been working on it ever since. So it's actually going on 10 years. And we are poised now. We have all the tools in place to literally get America educated on what he wanted everybody to know.
And tell us, what did Dr. Bernard Nathanson call the most brilliant political strategy?
Yeah, well, he deceived our country with an 8-point strategy. The 8th point is called, I mean, literally they named it, Catherine, the Catholic Strategy. Okay, and the purpose of it was to separate Catholics' religious conviction, meaning that they're against abortion, from their legislative judgment, i.e. they needed to get enough Catholics voting for pro-abortion candidates. It was a very stealthy, effective, and deadly strategy. And I promised Dr. Nathanson we would teach that 8-point strategy, which with a big emphasis on teaching as many Catholics as possible, the Catholic strategy.
And Terry, break down for us, what is the Catholic strategy?
Yeah, the Catholic strategy was the 8th point in an 8-point strategy to deceive America, but NARAL knew they had to deceive enough Catholic voters to support pro-abortion candidates. So the way they did it, it's called BESS. They would blame the Pope, blame the bishops, blame the local priests anytime a woman died of an illegal abortion complications. Number 2, they would emphasize the politicians who are softening their position on abortion. Didn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican. The third is they would support. So they would support Catholic candidates anytime they had a soft position on abortions, just as they do today. But the fourth part was, most of your viewers are going to know what I'm about to say, but they probably don't know this was part of a well thought through strategy, and it was called the Catholic Straddle. And the straddle is this: Mr. and Mrs. Catholic, you can remain personally abhorrent toward abortion, but every woman deserves the right to choose. Catherine, they literally called it the Catholic straddle, so they could straddle both sides of the fence.
And we do hear that so often today.
Absolutely.
We heard earlier Senator Gillibrand say that she personally thinks the Catholic Church is wrong on this issue. Have things gone even more extreme on this?
Yes, definitely. And you know it as well as I know. They have gone more extreme. And I think, quite frankly, it's because they see the pro-life victory. We are right on the precipice of a victory. And this is why I say that Dr. Nathanson, we're all fighting what Dr. Nathanson did. They've been duped by Dr. Bernard Nathanson's strategy. And so that's why he wanted so many Catholics to know the truth. I mean, he wanted everybody to know the truth, but especially Catholics and Catholic voters.
Based on your interviews, did Dr. Bernard Nathanson have any insight on how we can turn the tide on this trend?
Well, yeah, it was education, and that's why when I asked him the question, and that's what he said. You know, I posed that question. I didn't know, Catherine, if he would say, "Look, my day is done. You know, you all take it from here," but he didn't. It was a very, very somber interview. But that's the one time where I saw a little hope in his eyes. You know what I mean? Like a little glimmer of hope. And Dr. Nathanson said yes. He said, continue teaching the strategy of how I deceived America. And then he said, tell America to love one another. Abortion is not love. Stop the killing. The world needs more love, and I'm all about love now. And I reached over and I shook Dr. Nathanson's hand, and I promised him that I would get this job done until it becomes common knowledge. And his time is right around the corner.
And finally, Terry, tell us, why did you call the book What If We've Been Wrong?
What If We've Been Wrong comes right out of his resignation letter, his never seen before resignation letter. As far as I know, I'm the only one who has a copy of it. And from NARAL. So he resigned from NARAL 2 years to the day of Roe v. Wade. So he resigned January 22nd, 1975. And why is that so key? Is the 2 years between Roe. Now keep in mind, your viewers probably don't know this, the majority, Dr. Bernard Nathanson became pro-life because 6 months after celebrating Roe v. Wade, the father of America's industry of abortion sees the baby for the first time on a brand new technology, real-time ultrasound. And he knew that he personally could no longer deny the humanity of the baby in the womb. And why is that so key? It's because at that time he was an atheist, and the science of real time converted him. So he spent 2 years after 2 years after celebrating Roe, and then seeing the baby on real time ultrasound, trying to convince NARAL that they had it wrong. But NARAL, being the good Marxist organization, that's how he described them, a Stalinist organization, NARAL didn't pay attention to what the science had revealed. They had already gotten their victory.
Well, thank you for carrying on Dr. Bernard Nathanson's legacy. Terry Beatley, author of What If We've Been Wrong. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.